Imagine walking into a quiet library, shelves lined with dusty old books, when you come across a volume that looks ordinary at first glance, until you discover its chilling secret. The cover isn't made of leather, but human skin. It sounds like a horror story, but it's real. Tucked away in Harvard University's Houghton Library is one of the most macabre relics in literary history, a book truly bound in human flesh. Today, we'll explore the strange world of anthropodermic bibliophagy, the practice of binding books in human skin. We'll uncover how this book came to exist, what science says about it, and why it's both a disturbing and fascinating window into history. So grab your curiosity, and maybe a strong stomach, as we step into the unsettling story of the book that Harvard confirmed is bound in human skin. The book is titled De Destinée de l'âme, The Destiny of the Soul, a French philosophical text written in the 19th century by Arsène Houssaye. It wasn't originally strange, the oddity came later. In the mid-1800s, a doctor named Ludovic Boulon, who practiced in France, acquired the book. He wanted to bind it in something special. Boulon used skin taken from the unclaimed body of a female mental patient who had died in a hospital. He justified it by saying the subject of the book was the human soul, and therefore it was fitting that it be bound in human flesh. For decades, the book circulated quietly, its secret known only to a few. Part 2. The practice of binding books in human skin. Anthropodermic bibliophagy has been documented since the 17th century. Sometimes doctors used skin from cadavers as curiosities. Criminals' bodies were occasionally used for punishment or as a deterrent. Medical libraries often had examples, since physicians had access to cadavers far from being widespread. It was always rare. But it did exist in Europe, and America-bound volumes might include anatomy texts, medical records, or philosophical works like Houssaye's. To bookbinders of the time, skin was just another form of leather, unsettling but technically workable. The book eventually made its way into Harvard's Houghton Library collection. Rumors circulated for years that it was bound in human skin. In 2014, scientists performed tests to determine the truth. Using peptide mass fingerprinting, a method that identifies proteins in collagen, they confirmed it was human skin. The library released a statement, acknowledging the grim fact. They clarified the skin was obtained without consent, as was common in the 19th century, and stressed that they now treat the book with ethical awareness. The finding made headlines worldwide, sparking debates about how institutions should handle such objects. Part 4. Ethical questions. Should such books be preserved or respectfully buried? Some argue keeping them is disrespectful to the unnamed individuals whose skin was used. Others say destroying them erases historical evidence of uncomfortable truths. Harvard decided to keep the book, but contextualize it carefully. It is not displayed casually, it is treated as a sensitive artifact. The book raises questions about medical ethics in the past, the power imbalance between doctors and patients, especially women and the poor. It also shows how scientific curiosity sometimes blurred into exploitation. Part 5. The legacy of human skin books. Today, about 50 books worldwide are rumored to be bound in human skin. Scientific testing has confirmed only a handful are genuine. Many turn out to be sheep or goat leather. Museums, libraries, and collectors now wrestle with whether to test and reveal these histories. For example, institutions in Philadelphia, London, and other cities have admitted to possessing such works. While gruesome, they reveal how cultural attitudes toward death, science, and the human body have evolved. Part 6. Closing thoughts. The Harvard book remains one of the most famous confirmed cases. It's a reminder of a time when science, curiosity, and ethics collided in unsettling ways. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths, that the dead, especially marginalized people, were often used as objects of study or even raw materials. Today, the idea of binding a book in human skin is unthinkable, which shows how far medical ethics have advanced. So, the next time you walk into a library and pick up a book, imagine if its cover could whisper the story of a life once lived. History isn't always comfortable, but it's always important. And if you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe for more journeys into the strangest corners of history.